Before the story begins, rate this video from 0 to 10, based on how it makes you feel. A luxury black car was driving through the city. It passed a street where an old beggar slept. He had nothing but his own ragged clothes to keep him warm. The car didn't slow down. It kept driving on its path. Inside the car, a millionaire sipped his whiskey. His expensive suit was custom-made. His watch cost more than some people's entire life savings. And the car he was driving was worth over $200,000, but he was still not happy. The millionaire had everything one could wish for, but no matter how much money he spent on new experiences, cars, clothes, or food, he still felt empty inside. There was a void in his heart that nothing seemed to fill. That's when he had an idea. Maybe it was time for him to find a wife and have children, so he got himself on a popular dating site. He made an account and uploaded some of his best pictures. He wanted to look good so women would want to meet him. He spent hours swiping through profiles and liking the ones that he found attractive. After a while, he decided to set up a meeting with one of them. They agreed to meet at a fancy restaurant in the city center. The millionaire got ready and put on his best clothes. He chose a beautiful navy blue suit for the occasion. When he arrived at the restaurant, he sat down and waited. Soon enough, a woman arrived. She was dressed to the nines. She looked beautiful. But after they had exchanged a few words, he realized that she was only interested in him for his money. She was only there for the expensive gifts and fancy dinners that he could pay for, so he ended the date quickly and went home. This happened over and over again. He met dozens of beautiful women, but none of them wanted to be with him for who he was. They all just wanted something from him. Soon, he had had enough. He deleted his account and decided to never look for love online again. One day, he was sitting alone in his luxurious apartment. Outside the window, thousands of people walked by. Some were going to work, others shopping. Still, none of them stopped to admire the stunning view of the city. They couldn't see the expensive furniture, the large plasma TV, or the shiny floors. To them, he was just another person in a building. He looked out the window and wondered why nobody cared about his existence. Hadn't they heard of the famous rich man? Why didn't they recognize him? What was he doing wrong? Then he saw her. She was just a simple girl, but she stood out from the crowd. As soon as he saw her, he knew that he had to do something. He needed to make sure that she noticed him, so he did the only thing he could think of. He drove his car as close to the sidewalk as he could and rolled down his window. "Excuse me," he said loudly. The girl turned around and looked at him. For a moment, she didn't understand what was going on. "Can you help me with something?" he asked. She hesitated for a moment, but then nodded. "I want you to come with me for dinner tomorrow night," he said. "I'll pay for everything. You don't have to pay a cent." The girl thought about it for a second. She was surprised by the man's sudden request, but she wasn't sure if she should accept. She had never met him before and didn't know anything about him. On the other hand, she also knew that he was offering to pay for everything. She knew that if she said yes, she would get a free meal and maybe even get to go to some fancy place that she couldn't afford otherwise. So she decided to take the risk and said yes. The next evening, the millionaire was waiting for the girl in his car. He was wearing a dark suit and a white shirt. His hair was slicked back and his shoes were polished. He looked every bit the successful businessman that he was. The girl arrived a few minutes late, but he didn't mind. He got out of the car and opened the door for her. He helped her into the car and they drove off. They went to a very expensive restaurant. It was located on the 50th floor of a skyscraper. The windows stretched from floor to ceiling, giving them a stunning view of the city. The food was delicious and the service was impeccable. The girl couldn't remember the last time she had been somewhere so fancy. She felt like a princess being waited on hand and foot. The millionaire was nervous, so he tried to make conversation. He asked the girl about herself, about her interests and hobbies. He wanted to know more about her, but he couldn't help but notice that she was only looking at him out of politeness. She didn't seem to be interested in him at all. Still, he kept talking until they finished their meal. When it was time to pay the bill, the millionaire reached for his wallet. But before he could take it out, the girl stopped him. "No, I insist," she said. "You've already paid for the meal. The least I can do is pay for dessert." The millionaire was taken aback. He wasn't used to anyone paying for anything. He had always been the one who picked up the tab. He hesitated for a moment but then nodded. "All right, you pay for dessert," he said. The girl smiled and paid for the dessert. Then they left the restaurant and walked along the riverfront. The city lights twinkled around them, and the sound of the river was music to their ears. The girl was enjoying herself, but she couldn't shake the feeling that she was only there because the millionaire was paying for everything. She knew that he was attracted to her, but she wasn't attracted to him at all. Still, she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she kept smiling and making conversation. After a while, the millionaire stopped walking. He turned to the girl and asked, "So, do you want to go for a second round? I know a great bar where we can get some drinks." The girl hesitated for a moment. She knew that if she said yes, the millionaire would expect her to spend the night with him. She wasn't that kind of girl, though. She had morals and values and wasn't willing to compromise them for money. "No, thank you," she said politely. "I have to go now." The millionaire was shocked. He couldn't believe that she would turn down his offer. He was the richest man in town, and she was just a poor girl from the streets. He thought that she would jump at the chance to spend the night with him. But he was wrong. She was different from all the other girls he had met. She wasn't interested in his money or status. She was a diamond in the rough, and he was determined to make her his. He began to pursue her relentlessly. He showered her with expensive gifts, took her to fancy restaurants, and made sure that she always had money. But no matter what he did, she resisted his advances. She didn't care how much money he spent on her. She didn't love him and wasn't going to pretend that she did. The millionaire was persistent, though. He kept trying to win her over, even though it was clear that she wasn't interested. He didn't understand why she would turn down his offer. After all, he was the richest man in town and could give her anything she wanted. But he was wrong. She wasn't interested in his money or status. She was a free spirit who didn't need a rich man to take care of her. One day, the millionaire was standing outside her house. He had followed her there because he wanted to see where she lived. He was shocked by what he saw. It was a small, run-down shack that looked like it could collapse at any moment. The roof was leaking and the walls were covered in graffiti. "How can you live in a place like this?" he asked her. "Why don't you move into my mansion? I'll take care of you." The girl looked at him as if he were crazy. "I don't want to live in your mansion," she replied. "I'm happy in my little shack." The millionaire was furious. He couldn't believe that she would reject him again. He was the richest man in town, and she was just a poor girl from the streets. He thought that she would jump at the chance to live with him. But he was wrong. She was different from all the other girls he had met. She wasn't interested in his money or status. She was a diamond in the rough, and he was determined to make her his. Then she did something that shocked him. She turned and walked away without another word. The millionaire was stunned. He had never been rejected so bluntly before. He was the richest man in town and could buy anything he wanted. But here was a poor girl who didn't care about his money or status. He wanted to change her mind, but he didn't know how. As the days went by, the millionaire became more and more obsessed with the girl. He couldn't understand why she wouldn't accept his proposal. He thought that she was the one who had finally captured his heart, but he was wrong. She was just a poor girl who didn't care about his money or status. He decided to visit her again. He drove to her house and knocked on the door. When she opened the door, he stepped inside. "I'm sorry," he said. I know that you don't want me to come here, but I couldn't help myself. I had to see you one last time." The girl looked at him coldly. "What do you want?" she asked. "I just wanted to tell you that I won't give up," he replied. "I will make you mine, even if it takes me a lifetime." The girl shook her head. "You don't understand," she said. "I will never be yours. You are not the only man in my life." The millionaire was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. "Who else is in your life?" The girl smiled sadly. "The man in the mirror," she said. "I'm sorry," the millionaire whispered. "I didn't realize." He turned and walked away. The millionaire never saw the girl again. He searched for her everywhere, but she had vanished. He was heartbroken and didn't know what to do. He had never loved anyone as much as he loved her, but she didn't care about his money or status. He was just a nobody to her. He spent the rest of his life searching for her, but he never found her. He died believing that she was the one who had gotten away. Now, how would you rate this story?